Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with the Stay at Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We finally are getting nice weather here where we live, so we took advantage of taking our daughters outside and playing. We actually went to like a Amish market this weekend too. We love to do the Amish markets on the weekend, but we went to a new one and got the best cinnamon rolls ever. I need to restrain myself from eating them all. They're so good. Those Amish are just so good at whipping up all those treats and the breads. They're always delicious. We are currently preparing also for our older one's birthday party. She's going to be 6 next week, but we're having her party this weekend and it's Frozen theme. We're doing a little bounce house in the backyard. I already got all the decorations and stuff from Amazon. I'm like a crazy nut. I do like the balloon arches myself because it's so much cheaper to do it yourself. I would love to just like have all the balloons galore like a Kardashian party and pay for it, but I try my best to do it like them on the budget and myself. Obviously, it doesn't look nearly the same, but you guys know what I mean. I feel like we have a lot of like Bravo updates, Bravo tea for this episode, so I'm excited. So we're gonna get into a little gossip at the beginning, and then the second half we're gonna recap Summer House, which I feel like we have gossip from that as well. So, the main worst gossip and news, almost more not gossip, the most awful news that we all received last week was we are not getting BravoCon 2024. It is coming back November 2025.
My God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, did they mess up the year?" And then I had to think about it for a second. I, like, saw it, I'm like, "Oh, the dates for BravoCon, yay." And then I was like, "Wait, November is not gonna be 2025. We're still gonna be in 2024. What?" And then I read on, so since the Olympics are happening this year, NBC does not have the budget to do both. Because at first I was like, the Olympics aren't gonna be in Las Vegas. What does it matter about having BravoCon in Las Vegas? But I guess they're just spending their whole budget on the Olympics, which I understandable, I suppose. But this is like our Olympics for Bravo. So I'm disappointed. I was excited, planning on I was gonna go this fall. I was gonna leave behind the children and the husband. I'm like, I have work to do. This is work, a work assignment. It's not pleasure, it's work. I need to bring it to the podcast. I was gonna go with like some people that I've met just from the realm of doing podcasts, and we were all gonna stay together. It was gonna be fun. So I was like, all right, well, now we can all start saving our money and we have even more time to plan for the next BravoCon. Um, Maybe we'll all get on OnlyFans and start selling feet pictures for like a fund to save because I was listening to shout out No Filter with Zach Peter today. He said that it was like alleged that Denise Richards and her daughter Sammy monthly on OnlyFans, the daughter, Sammy makes 80,000 a month. I was like, "What?" And then it said Denise Richards $2 million a month. I mean, even he said that just can't be right. Like it has to be maybe like one time Denise Richards made $2 million for the month. You know what I mean? Like maybe when she first had her OnlyFans account. But it's like I'll sell my feet. I don't care. I mean, I'm so curious about that whole realm. I feel like if it was that easy and that harmless to just upload your toes and everyone's making this much money, like literally everyone would do it. So there has to be a catch. I'm not going to lie. I did go on it one time to like browse through when it first became a thing. Like my husband's like, "Oh, you have cute feet. Like let's make it happen. I'll be like the manager of your feet pictures." And I'm like, there has to be a catch because like literally everyone would do it. So we were kind of looking through and it was a little weird and yeah, I don't know. But now I'm like getting curious all over again. I'm going to have to like deep dive and then I'll report back on here. And then I guess once I've become rich selling my feet, I'll definitely let everyone know the inside scoop, but I don't really know how easy it is to do that, and also it's Denise Richards. I was like, "Of course people are gonna buy hers, like, who's gonna buy my pictures and toes?" And I don't know, I'm grossed out by feet. I mean, we know some people have feet fetishes, and I think that's weird, but, I'm not one of them. But thank God some do because making all this money on OnlyFans. So we also have exciting news. It was Coachella this past weekend. We had a housewives sighting. Teresa Judice was in the audience with none other than Taylor Swift. So the picture has been circulating. I posted it, and it's so funny that it was that easy for her to get the picture. So this is also something I've always wondered. I've never been to Coachella. I've done Firefly back in the day, so that was a music festival that started when I was in college, actually in Delaware, down in Dover, where, like, the racetrack is for NASCAR, and I went the 2nd year and 3rd year they had it. They don't actually have it anymore. I think this is one of the first years they're not gonna do it, but, I mean, we got big acts. We had Tom Petty before he passed away, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Foo Fighters, a lot of big acts came to that. I'm just not keen on the camping. Those were the only 2 times I've been camping in my life, and honestly, never again, couldn't do it. I'd have to be glamping, or Coachella seems up my alley. If I had no budget, I'd be staying in these palatial houses in Palm Springs and walking amongst royalty, celebrities all the time. So that's what I'm wondering. So many celebrities go to this and they're just walking around. So is someone like a Taylor Swift just walking around freely? Like, does she bring security? I mean, Teresa just got a picture right away. Does she was with Travis Kelce. I don't know how that all works about the celebrities just roaming around. I think it's amazing. I would love to just go to celebrity people watch, not even like catch any of the musical acts. I YouTubed a little bit. I saw that James Kennedy has officially become the number one guy of the group because he finally has made his debut at DJing at Coachella. So, round of applause for James. He said that was just like his life dream. He loves it. And then I was like, I wonder how much he got paid for that. And then on the other hand, I was like, I wonder if some people like are like, I don't even need to be paid. Just you asking me, I'll do it for free. Just for like the clout and to say that you've done it. Obviously, that opens doors. I saw that he is like kind of signed through somebody. So it was actually tagged. It said Brent Bolthouse. And I was like, oh my God, is this Brent from the Hills? And it is. So there was a little interview clip because I clicked on it. I guess he, like, branched off of Bolt House and made this, like, neon carnival, so I guess it's just, like, DJ music festival people, so James is under, I guess, almost like a contract with them for that, and they had him and Brent talking, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's definitely the guy from The Hills," and he's definitely a little salt and pepper in the hair color now, looks a little old, but then I was like, The Hills is, like, literally so long ago. I don't even remember, like I don't wanna say 20 years ago because that's just dramatic. Probably, like, 14 years ago? I don't know, but, it was pretty funny to see that, and then, obviously, I looked up, like, Brent Boldhouse, on YouTube, and the clip that came up was when he, like, fired Heidi on The Hills, and I always like, now we've come to learn a lot of The Hills was fake, and as was Laguna Beach. Kristen Cavallari's come out and said it, Heidi and Spencer have, and I wonder if that whole firing thing was fake too, because I feel like she went back after that and worked for them again. And I don't know. That had to be difficult too, because he was running a legitimate business. But then obviously he's not going to say no to be on MTV because his business was like club promotions. So obviously he'd be like, oh my God, I need to be on MTV. Everyone will just flock to whatever I'm doing and wherever I'm going. So saw him with James Kennedy. That's great for James. James is also gonna be, like, DJing in the wintertime on this Cruz. It said Neon Carnival, like Cruz. So it's gonna be put on by, now we know, Brent Baldhouse, that he is Neon Carnival. So that's pretty cool. Good for him. He's definitely come a long way. Definitely better than Richella when Schwartz made that terrible joke last year. They were all at Coachella though. So Lala was hanging with Shishi and Brock and some other people I don't know, and the Gusbins were there. We saw Ariana was with her boyfriend Dan and Dana, and then Raquel was flocking around, and then Schwartz was flocking around too. I am so curious if any of them saw Raquel. It could be from a distance too. I'm not even talking about like bumping in face to face and getting an awkward, "Oh, hi, Lala. How have you been? Do you listen to my podcast?" Um, that would be crazy. See, that's what I mean. I would love to go to Coachella just to do this spottings, just to see the craziness of all that would be happening. But yeah, I also am curious if Teresa asked Taylor Swift for the picture and how all of that happened. Because all I could see and imagine when I saw the picture, or I mean hear, is her going like, "Oh, Taylor, oh my god, my daughters love you. I need to take a picture and send it to Melania. Oh, you and your boyfriend are here. Oh, love, love, love. You're in a love bubble. Oh." So that was very interesting. And then some other funny dramatic news. Jax and Brittany celebrated their son Cruz's third birthday party this weekend. So even though they are still separated, they are doing a good job of co-parenting, showing up together, not making it too difficult. He's still young, but kids know and they can feel it. And obviously he knows something's going on because him and Brittany are in a different house. So I do wonder, like, if he, like, what's going on in his brain, like if he likes them being in a different house, if it's like more calm for him. But they all gathered together for the birthday, and I put this video up my Instagram too, and I think I've watched it like nearly 1,000 times. So they're singing um at the table. There's this balloon, like, arch thing behind them. It was like a T-Rex party theme, like dinosaurs, and they have the beautiful little cake, and then it's Brittany and Jax, and she's holding Cruz, and they're kinda leaning in to blow the candles out, and then that was a whole whole 'nother thing. People are like, "Why is Jax leaning in to blow out the candles? He's such a narcissist. The son should do it." But Jax is kinda leaning on, it's one of those, like, foldable tables that are very dangerous at all times. The legs could collapse, and you know what, people? The legs collapsed. And it was so funny. I mean, obviously, it's so sad because the cake just, like, plummeted on the ground, broke in pieces, obviously. So they had just sang. He leans, table collapses. I was like, "I bet my life Jax is blaming the staff currently." He's probably like, "Oh, you guys didn't lock these, like, legs in. I have some of these foldable tables too, and, you gotta secure it. You gotta lock the legs in. But, like, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's whatever." And then Brittany's probably like, "Oh, Jax, be quiet. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, you guys are doing a great job." No, just ignore him. That's why we're separated, because he's crazy. I am wondering if it's the legs, if it was his weight, like, leaning on it, but if the legs are locked, he should be able to lean on it. Some people were like, "Oh, the kid kicked the table and it fell over." It's like, he's 3. Our 3-year-old weighs, like, 30 pounds, so I don't think Brittany is holding him, so I don't think his little toes, like, concave the whole table. I my bet would be the legs were not locked in place, and then maybe while the legs were not locked in place, Jax's body weight leaning into the table made it fall down. But I was like, even the table is giving up on their marriage. So that was just, I feel like, a symbolic thing of how their marriage and life is going currently. Because also, I listened to their podcast, and he had to make a little statement. I don't know if it was written up by Bravo themselves or by his PR team, but it correlates with what I already talked about last week. He was going off, spiraling, being Jax, the Jax we love. He was at his bar doing like a watch party of the Valley, and he claims he had too many sodas. Yeah, I think soda is the new code word for pasta, which is code word for cocaine, something. You weren't having jacked up on Coca-Cola, but he said all these terrible things about Vanderpump Rules. He's like, the show is so scripted. It was only organic and real seasons 1 through 6, conveniently the seasons he was on. He's like, now it's all fake. He's like, and I know it's fake because I'm going to be on next week. And I had a script to read from. So I think he still is going to be appearing and talking to Lisa because we did always see that in the trailer for the season. And I highly doubt they gave you a script to talk to Lisa. I mean, maybe they said, like, when you sit down with Lisa, make sure you bring this up. But to me, that's not really scripted because it's just giving you a topic and then you run with it and you talk about it. I mean, same for the Valley. And the funny part is, it's like, Jax, you're going off and throwing Bravo and the show under the bus. You are still on Bravo, you're on a new show. So, this was the apology that he issued. Like I said, I don't know if it was written by his PR team or Bravo, but I'm going to let you guys listen to the little clip.
Incredibly embarrassed by that. About 10 minutes before I got to the bar for the viewing party, something was brought to my attention that really upset me. I don't want to get into details about what exactly it was about, but instead of speaking about it with the people involved, I retaliated by letting the show when I shouldn't have done that. I'm embarrassed by my actions, and more so, I feel badly for putting a show that has probably been the most authentic television out there. Certain people on the show may rub me the wrong way from time to time, but I should have never trashed the show like that. Vanderpump has been and continues to be incredible TV, and I will always stand by that. And as many of you know and seen, I can overreact and impulsively, and I just wanted to apologize for all that. I'm sorry, guys. That was very wrong of me.
Yes.
And I was drinking a little too many sodas.
And of course, I was not there. So I'm sure everyone notices, like, things happen when Brittany ain't around.
I know. I just got really I got some information from a couple of people on Vanderpump that really pissed me off. You know what it is, and you're understanding why, man. But you even said, "Why did you do that?" And I just
Yeah,
I got
don't
the information.
understand.
I got the information like 2 minutes before the show. I
Yeah,
have to say.
but that show gave you so much. You
Oh,
should have
it's-
never put it down. Like
I
that
know.
gave.
Yeah. So we also know that he was dogging Sheena because Sheena went on her podcast, which I listened to last Friday. And apparently he was saying, Jax, that Sheena's like always out and leaves her baby behind for her mom to raise, which it's like, she may be out, but like their job is to be out. Like they're being paid. Like Sheena isn't just like being crazy, like leaving the baby, going to strip clubs and bars all night and spending money. No, she has to like appear at a bar to film her show she's on, just like you, and make money. Or like he's one to talk. He's always at his bar. Why? Because you have to be. It's technically not his. It's like he has like investors, and it's smart to invest in a celebrity name because you're like, hey, you don't have to put money up, but you need to come here 4 or 5 nights a week. You have to like, have watch parties, host maybe karaoke night, bring your goofy tone deaf friend Tom Sandoval. You guys get on the microphones, look like buffoons together. We want to draw a crowd, and we're not going to ask you for money, but we're going to ask you for your time that's going to make all of us money. So I think it's pretty shitty. Like Jax is just going on like a shit rampage. Like he was friends with Sheena. I mean, I don't know about current day. After saying all that, I highly doubt. She was just on the Valley, her and Brock at their party at him and Brittany's house. So this is definitely like a big part of why Jax and Brittany are separated as well, because another podcast I listened to, I was just like listening to all the things this weekend. I was like, put in the earbuds. I was like, all right, the kids are playing. I'm gonna clean, do the dishes, do the laundry. I was like beep bopping around the house, listening to all this stuff so I could tell it to you guys. So I listened to the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast. She had Brittany on, and she was just saying, it's been tough all these years. This is what she has to deal with Jax. Like he runs his mouth. She has to pick up the pieces because she's like associated with it. When you're married, it's kind of like you're lumped together. Like, yes, it's not coming from Brittany's mouth, but if she defends it or doesn't really speak out against it and go against Jax, like, people are gonna get mad at her because 'cause they'll be like, "Tone your husband down, like, he's, rude." So, the host brought up the whole Stassi and Beau wedding thing because she's like, he liked a comment, which I know I said, on the last episode. He liked a comment saying that he should have married Stassi. And Brittany was like, so she told her on the podcast, and Brittany's like, what? Why would he do that? And then she's like, yeah, and you guys like don't talk to Stassi and Beau anymore, right? She's like, yeah, like if I see her, she says hi, but we're not friends. And that's really a lot of Jax's doing. Cause she said they didn't go to the wedding. And a big part was they couldn't get Cruz's passport in time. Even though like you have so far ahead to plan, I don't really know why. That's why I was like, back then, I was like, I think she's using that as an excuse. But then she did say her mom was supposed to come because that's when all the kids were like really little. So she was going to bring her mom and Cruz. And it was going to be the four of them going. She said her mom's best friend's husband passed away. So she no longer could go. So obviously they can't bring Cruz by themselves. And she said Jax was like writing in these group texts that Stassi and Beau were in, and he's like complaining about them and talking about them, trashing their wedding. And Jax is just so weird. It's like he wants to do this to his friends. Like, one thing if you want to go off on the internet, like he also did, which I posted, just all these like comments. He always says it doesn't bother him what people say and he just wants to live his life. It's like obviously it bothers you because he was answering literally every single human that was writing anything to him and being very nasty. So it's like I don't know why you're wasting your own time doing that. It's like I made a post a couple weeks ago just joking about Lindsay, and a lot of people were like yelling at me. I was wrote something about like the hair extension hanging out and I'm like, everyone needs to take a chill pill. I mean, I had hair extensions and it's like, yeah, we've all been there, but it's like I'm just joking. Like everyone to just chill out. They were pulling a Jax. They weren't being chill, cool as a cucumber. Or what did Teresa say on Jersey last year? She's like, I'm uh calm as a cucumber or something. Like Margaret was like, "Okay, never heard that one, but we'll roll with that." But yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Brittany. I think she's finally seen the light. She said if that was happening like now with like Stassi and Beau, she would just leave him behind with the kid and go to the wedding. Good for you, girl. Um, she said that they are both not seeing anyone, but technically they're allowed to. She said she would consider seeing someone and that would really let her know if she would want to be over Jack. So I definitely don't think they're gonna get back together because also it seems Jax is doing no work on himself. She said that's a big reason, they're separated. She said, "You have to go to therapy, you have to change this, you have to do that." He hasn't done anything, so she's like, "If he's not gonna do any of that, I'm not coming back." She's like, "He is so stubborn too." Oh, this was the interesting part. So she said, "He's so stubborn, he wasn't gonna leave the house." So she's like, "Fine, I'll leave. I'll get an Airbnb." And he's like, "No, why don't you just come back and sleep in the guest or I'll sleep in the guest room." And she's like, no, we're not gonna be like a Tom and Ariana. And she said a main reason why she left is because they were arguing a lot in front of Cruz and like yelling at each other. So it's not about uh, like they can stay together in the house. Like obviously Tom and Ariana, when they have talked on these couple episodes of Vanderpump Rules, they do, get in a fight. But A, they don't have a child at home. And B, when they are in the house, they actually just totally ignore each other. Jax and Brittany wouldn't be able to do that, she's saying. She said even if they see each other now, when they're like doing co-parenting things, if they get to talking about something, it just turns into an argument. So that's why I think there's no hope, sadly, for them. But the interesting part that I was going to say is she said they do have separate finances. So that is good. They have separate bank accounts. They put the down payment on the house together, but Jax pays the mortgage and she pays all the bills for the house, and she said for Cruz. So I'm not sure how much their mortgage is, but I guess it like amounts to the same. So let's say it's $6,000 or $8,000 a month. Brittany's paying $6,000 or $8,000 a month in bills and stuff for the kid. So at least they do have all that. But the thing is, she said she's paying for the Airbnb. and she's still paying for all the bills in the house. So that has to suck. So I'm sure she's not going to want to do that much longer, but she's, you know, giving Jax the chance to change. But obviously, as we can see, he's just becoming worse because at the end of the day, Brittany wants to focus on their relationship, but I'm sure it's not helping. He's, talking about Sheena as a mother. That's disgusting. Um, Doing all these crazy things like ranting off on the internet to strangers just makes Brittany realize he's not going to change. He's just going to be the same crazy headache. She said Jesse and Michelle were actually going to separate before the show. I think we could tell that because when I watched the show, I'm like, no, they definitely ain't making it. I am interested this week though to see Jackson Brittany like elaborate a little more on the relationship because I saw a preview and he yells at Brittany. So we're seeing the arguing of what she's talking about that she couldn't stay around. Jax like picks their son up. So the son is like right near Jax's face as he's talking. He's like, "You want another kid? Stop effing drinking. Act like a mother." And it's like, okay, not only should you not be saying that to Brittany and not talking to her like that, you definitely shouldn't do it while the kid is like right in your face and he's hearing that. I mean, he's 3 years old. He's not 3 months old, Jax. Like, he is getting a clue and picking up on what you guys are saying to each other and the tension and non love that you're showing to each other. Speaking of non-love, it's just tumbleweed, she says in that area also. So that's not good. Because sometimes even when people fight, they still get it on. And we'll discuss that on Summer House with the Carl and Lindsay of it all of that. But to wrap up with the gossip, two shows I don't watch. I don't watch Potomac and I don't watch Miami, but some gossip that just came out today is Alexia from Miami is getting divorced. Her husband Todd filed for the divorce. I really need to watch Miami. So I'm having surgery in a couple weeks. I'm getting a little mommy makeover. Very excited. As Teresa would say, I'm getting the bubbies. I'm getting the bubbies done because I deserve it. And I think I want to start Miami and watch that. I used to watch it sometimes like back in the day, but I want to start like last season and this season and get caught up. And then Candace Dillard is pregnant. So, congratulations to her. Again, don't watch that show either, but wanted to just touch on all the Bravo tea of the Bravo universe. But we are going to take a quick little break and then I'm going to come back and recap Summer House. Every season, we see the Bravo celebrities getting glow ups, and we want one too. Look no further than Daniel Plastic Surgery for invasive and non invasive treatments. I just recently had a VI peel from there, and I cannot wait for my results. I'm also going to get my sunspots all taken care of after summertime with their IPL laser. Call now for your appointment and mention Bravo T with a stay at home mom to receive 10% off your treatment. And we're back. We pick back up at the Italian dinner night. Amanda and Kyle, we're still talking about the house. I feel really bad for Amanda. So, this is what is not right. Before you get married, you have talks. Both need to agree on where you're going to live, if you're going to have kids, how you're going to raise your kids, maybe even like school, things of that nature. You need to get them all ironclad. If you want pets, if you like pets, very much things that once you're married, like it can't be like, oh, yeah, I want kids. And then you get married and like the husband or wife says, oh, I don't want kids. Well, now you've trapped that other person that says they want kids. So that's not fair. So I feel bad for Amanda that Kyle's like, no, I want to like live in the city our whole life. And she's like, I definitely don't want to do that. You could tell Amanda wants to have like that white picket fence family life, but she said Kyle did too. So very awkward, uncomfortable, because I feel like it's either Lindsay or Carl disagreeing or Amanda and Kyle disagreeing. And I'm sure Paige gets on the phone with Craigie all the time, fills him in on all the tea and gossip because she said she loves to do that with him. And I'm sure she's like, you know what? We're doing just fine in our relationship because all these people fight all the time and are all crazy. But I would like to see Craigie and Paige moving in together, let alone getting engaged. But that's a whole nother topic. Lindsay says, as a man, you just suck it up. to Kyle. And I love we pan to Carl and his frightened face because he's like, "Oh my god, this is a preview of my wife and what she's saying." So I guess she'll be telling me I just gotta suck it up and do whatever she wants all the time. Um, very just frustrating though. They end the meal, all go inside. Lindsay and Kyle kinda go up to the bar because the bartender's still there. Lindsay's probably like, "Let's suck a couple drinks down before these people pack it up. It's on page. Let's get it." And Kyle's just like, "Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just not ready to do this." And he's claiming he needs to be on a better, like, wavelength with Amanda before they do all this. That is so weird because it's like, you're already married. And Amanda's like, "I'm not saying I'm gonna have babies tomorrow, but I also don't wanna, like, already have the baby, and then we gotta figure out how to get a house." Like, she is tapped out from the city. You could see it, you could tell it. I would be too. Like, I love to go on vacation, visit cities and whatnot. I am a person that I personally could not live in the city all the time, and especially with kids. That would be very difficult. I mean, you'd have to be living like a Kardashian, like a driver, all that nonsense, getting deliveries to you. And I think she just doesn't want that though. Even if they had all that, she wants a backyard, which we have an amazing backyard, fenced in, so much room for our kids and our dog. We have like the little play place and everything. So I get she wants that. She said that's how her and Kyle grew up. So it's not like they grew up in the city and she wants this weird outside world that they know nothing about. So Paige is just reassuring Amanda though. She's like, "You're literally going to be the best mom out of all of us." She's like, "No offense, Sierra," because they're all sitting in bed. She's like, "I'm just pep talking her up." They do this AI thing, Amanda, Paige, and Sierra, and they like curate like the three of their faces to make a baby. And not only is that crazy that we can do things like this now, but that was the cutest damn little baby girl ever. So cute. Sierra is then texting West because he's not there. She's like, "Miss you." And he's like, "I'll talk to you later." Um, but the next day they're all gonna have some beach volleyball and they are kinda doing, like, little Baywatch theme with Kyle, and I love it. He's wearing, like, a women's bathing suit. It's, like, super, super, super pale butt cheeks are out, like, we need some self-tanner. Like, when he ran around the pool a couple weeks ago, he was so pale, like, the thigh region. So funny, like, the thighs and the butt, it was like he had shorts on, like, white shorts. It was like the sock tan that you get. Like, I was a camp counselor for a little bit, and we would get, like, a nasty sock tan. Like, it'd just be right there. I'd have pale feet all weekend because I was just out with the sneakers on and the socks. Um, but Kyle and Amanda go talk alone by the ocean, and she's just mad about him going out late also because she's like, you know, you staying out till 4 in the morning is just, like, ridiculous, like, when is this ending? So she said in her confessional, she married, like, someone older, so she thought, like, when they met, like, "Oh, this is great, like, he'll wanna be, settled down, he won't wanna be, like, out raging," but Kyle is, like, opposite, like, he's the oldest one in that house, and he stays up the latest, drinks the most, eats the most at night, like, I don't know how he wakes up the next day, honestly. Um, it is annoying, I get it, that would be annoying, it's different when they're on this TV show, though, I get it if he has to do that. But if when they're at home, he's still doing that, and, like, she's just sitting at home waiting, like, that's your wife, like, I think a man has just heard at the end of the day that he'd rather stay out till 4 AM with, like, a friend and, like, strangers he met that night than be at home with her. Like, that's when our priorities need to change, and you should wanna be at home. Like, I like to go out with my friends and have time to myself, but on a daily basis, I am with my husband at night. Like, we are in the house watching these lunatics on TV together. We're watching Bravo, and that's just what you do when you're married. I don't know. It's weird that Kyle like doesn't understand why this bothers Amanda. But Then he said, "I'm a social person and it's lonely AF being married to you." That is so hurtful. Like, the one thing I can say sometimes about him and Lindsay is they go for the jugular a little bit with the comments. I think Lindsay's a lot worse, but him saying that to Amanda is so mean. Like, she is social, but in her own way. He's like social with strangers for no reason. That was crazy he said that. I felt bad for her. They're giving Carl and Lindsay a run for their money. I'm serious. It's either like they're fighting and Carl and Lindsay are getting along or vice versa. So that was pretty crazy. Sierra FaceTimes West though, fills him in everything he's missing. I don't remember where he is. I like want to say he's like at home or something. He had something to do like out in Montana or wherever. Um but everyone's getting ready to go out except Lindsay, Andrea, Amanda, and Sierra stay behind. I was shocked Lindsay was staying behind because she's kind of like Kyle. She likes to go out. Um, Getting a little like sexy time in the room for a second. Carl was like changing because they have that corner camera. It so reminds me of like the real world when they put like the cameras all around. And, he's like, "Oh, it's Carl. Oh, that's Carl Jr." And then there's like, or CJ, he said, and then it was pointing and it said Carl Jr. I was like, "Oh, Lindsay's touching the pee-pee." So, and then they pan to Kyle getting ready, and he's like lacing up his shoes in his room, like alone, and he farted. I wrote that in my notes because like, oh my God, that's so funny. It's just, he I need just footage, lost footage of Kyle on these cameras because they obviously do their best to show some, but there's just like so much footage that we never get to see. I need like a whole 2-hour lost footage of like weird, stupid shit like that, like him tying his shoes and him farting in the room. I just want to see stuff like that. But they all go out, then the stay-ins are gonna do, like, a little game, and Andrea is asking Sierra about West, and then we see the goer-outers, and I was shocked that Paige was a goer-outer because she's a bed bug. She likes to go and stay at home, but this is when I do think the production was maybe like, "Maybe you should go out so you can, like, chit-chat and talk with Kyle because him and Amanda are fighting, and he's a little vulnerable, and he'll probably spill some emotion." So he says that he wants him and Amanda to be better, and then he starts crying. And then he says that there are no pictures of him on Amanda's phone. He's like, "I saw her camera roll the other day and I just like wasn't in it." And I'm like, "You're not in the whole phone? That is weird." Like I have like 14,000 photos on my phone. It's like, you mean to tell me, Kyle, you're not in one of Amanda's 14,000 photos in her camera roll? But also, if you weren't staying out till 4 a.m. with strangers and you were at home, maybe you'd be in the camera roll. Maybe you should be selfieing with you and the doggies. I don't know. Like Amanda seems like she doesn't really take pictures. She even said that when I watched the after show. She's like, a lot of the pictures I post, people have like sent me. And it's like, cause like she's in the picture. So obviously she's not taking it. So she's like, I don't even really take that many pictures. But Paige is so funny. She has like no tolerance for like the weak man tears and stuff. She's like, maybe you should stop being a dick. He's like, "I'm not," like, while he's crying, and then she's, like, making fun of how he's, like, crossing his legs. She's like, "Men that cross their legs like this, it's just, like, no for me." And then she's like, "But, I mean, my boyfriend sews." Like, she's trying to make fun of Kyle and say, like, the way you're crossing your leg is feminine, but then she's like, Craig sews pillows." I wanna go to that store. Someone I know was just down there and went in the store, and I was like, "I need to go. I wanna go." Um But anyway, so we get the stay back crew. They are playing the little game. So Andrea, our sexy Italian man, is reading. He said, "Rate your sex life on a scale of 1 to 10." Lindsay immediately, 2.5. Don't be saying that out loud. And then Andrea's like, "What?" And then she's like, "Yeah, we had sex today, but like nobody came." Amanda was like, "Wait, he didn't?" And she's like, "Nope." This is like all cries for help. Like, my husband looked at me and he was like, If she just said that and they have an awful sex life and she's giving it a 2.5, why isn't she calling the wedding off? You wanna marry someone that you're gonna have 2.5 sex with your whole life? So I couldn't wait to watch the after show for that. Obviously, that was a cry for help. Lindsay said that she would, like, be like, "Carl, I'm getting in the shower." And he'd be like, "Okay, cool, whatever." So I guess she was always the one initiating it. But then, like he says on his little when they pan to him and Kyle on the after show, he says that sometimes she'd be like, "I'm tired." And he's like, "What am I gonna call Kyle and be like, oh, she won't have sex with me because she says she's tired?" And also, I'm sure when she was accusing Carl of doing cocaine, they weren't having sex that night. So I think they were doing a lot of fighting, and that's why they weren't having sex. I mean, I just think it's crazy that when they actually did, it was bad. Like, agreed. You wanna have sex, bad sex for your whole life? And then it's like, Lindsay, you're saying nobody's like finishing. How are you gonna get pregnant? How are you gonna make those babies? I mean, I don't know. That they should have been going to like a sex therapist, not having Carl go to a job coach, a career coach. That was crazy when she said that because it's like you don't want to admit like bad stuff. You want to like be like, "Oh, it's a 10. Everything's, like, amazing." Nobody else said anything. I definitely would have liked to hear Andrea's, opinion on his sex life because he's engaged to his girlfriend, and then I would have liked to hear what Amanda says. I am curious about her and Kyle's sex life. And then Sierra, I guess, has none because she still has not had sex with West. But then we get everybody coming back, minus Jesse and Kyle, because he has to stay out the latest. This is what Amanda means. Like, so annoying. Like, why can't you just come home with everyone else? Jesse's single. That's why he's staying out. So I don't know if Kyle's like, oh, well, like, I'll stay too and like wingman you, but like I don't know. I mean, I could see why like if Jesse's not ready to leave, like, oh, well, somebody should stay with him. Like obviously Paige isn't going to. If West was there, he probably would have, and like maybe even Sierra. But so they stay out later, but then they come home. Jesse brings a girl back, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. Here we go. Um, excuse me. Sierra goes up to Paige's room and she's like, Jesse Solomon brought somebody back. Immediately they go to the curtains and watch and spy. I would totally be doing this shit too. So Jesse is getting in the hot tub with the girl. And I was like, oh, well, she didn't bring a bathing suit. I'm sure you don't just have that in your purse hoping some guy that's on Bravo with like a pool and a hot tub is going to pick you up at a bar in the Hamptons and you go swimming later. She got in her thong and bra. I was like, oh my God. So then they go in the house. And I was like, I wonder if they're gonna do the old school trick, like in the real world, because I feel like the real world was like the first show that had like the cameras like all around the house, kind of like this. Would put it in the bedrooms and people would like cover it up when they like hooked up, and you're like, oh my God, but you can still hear it. So he covered the camera right up, and then we hear him go like, "Oh, you're so good at that." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Jesse Solomon, what's happening?" West is going to be jealous because he's putting in the time and effort with Sierra. He's still not getting anything. I had to take a sip of my water. I'm drinking out of my Stanley cup, just a side note for a minute. And I've been watching these funny videos. It's this girl and this guy that make fun of like the Stanley Cup. And it's like every girl that drinks out of a Stanley Cup. And they're like, it's just funny. I don't remember the girl's name. I'll shout it out next time, but it's really funny. Hey, I'm a stan for the Stanley Cup. I love my Stanley Cup because I love the handle on it. Keeps my water cold. I have a big supply of water in here. It's a little heavy, but I do love it. But Kyle is eating in the kitchen. So while Jesse Solomon has this guest in his room, he is eating in the kitchen and he's talking to like the camera. He's talking to like nobody. And it's so funny. He's like, oh, yeah, it's golden white Oreos. Oh, yeah. And then he's like eating like all this shit in the kitchen. And then he finally comes up to bed at 3:55 in the morning. So Amanda is like asleep kind of. So she probably doesn't even know when they got home. He could have been in the kitchen for like an hour and a half. So she's like, Amanda is pissed. So pissed. This would be annoying. I would give him like his own room. I'd be like, you have to sleep in like a spare room. I'm like asleep. Um, but in the morning, Sierra and Paige are greeted with coffee and tea by Andrea. This brought me flashbacks to Winter House when Paige was hooking up with Andrea and he bring her the coffee in the bed every morning. This has to be like kind of weird. I mean, it's not like they had like this long like love affair or like, oh, they were engaged and now they're broken up and now like he's here, but it has to be a little weird. And I find it odd that Craig came the weekend before. And then like now Andrea's here this weekend and they weren't together. And it is odd Craig didn't come for the weekend that Paige was hosting, like the dinner. Um, he must have not been able to. He must have been like, this is the only weekend I could come. I'm kind of hoping we see him again. I feel like we do because in the trailer, it looked like they were like fighting in the kitchen on like the other time he comes. So maybe he comes for like Memorial or Labor Day or something. I don't know. Um, but they were just talking about, Jessie having the guest, and she did leave. She didn't stay the whole night. So he's like, "I need to shoo her out." I would like to know how many more guests he'll bring. I'd like to know how many numbers he collected over the summer too. That would be a good guess. Just while he's out in the Hamptons, because we know he has a busy schedule during the week in the city. He's always on dates. I mean, he's he's gonna go broke taking all these people out on these dates. Kyle and Amanda, so awkward. They're always so awkward the next day. They'll be like silent in their room. She's like showering. She has like her towel on her head, and he's just like standing there like lost, trying to gather all their belongings and dread the drive home that he'll have to do. But then West has lunch with his great aunt, which was so cute. He said, I'm sorry. I had like a tickle in my throat. Sorry. So they had lunch and he said that he basically like moved to New York because of this great aunt that like moved out there, like lived the dream, did the whole like city life. And he's like, it really inspired me to do that. And then we get a little dating background of West, which I was hoping we would from somebody. So he got his heart broken by the high school girlfriend. And then he only had one other serious girlfriend since then. So I could see that with him, like, I think he wants to sleep with Sierra, but I don't know if he wants to be Sierra's boyfriend. Do you know what I mean? So, whereas I think Sierra, it's not like she doesn't not want to sleep with West, but she's probably like, I want to like make sure you're going to be my boyfriend before we get into that. Um, because, what if he's on next year for summer house and then they gotta share a house? So, I do get it, but I do like them together. Still can't tell if they're together current day. Don't know. I'm so curious what's gonna happen. I hate the waiting game that we can't find out what's going on between people romantically usually in these shows. So, I don't wanna ruin it. But then Sierra meets with her new modeling agent. So happy for her that she's being signed by a modeling agency. She's going to do amazing because she's a beautiful girl. Um, Kyle and Amanda have a relationship coach come over. So I think this is good. That's what they need. Cause she's like, he's always kind of like shit talking me. We need to talk to somebody. Like instead of him running around the house being like, Amanda's lazy. Amanda doesn't want to do this. Oh, I don't think Amanda's ready for kids, but I'm ready for kids. But I don't want to move into a house, changing my tune and everything. They talk about the work stress because as we know, Amanda like quit her job because he's like, I really need you at Loverboy and I want you to work here. But in their prenup, she's not entitled to anything a Loverboy, which is fine. But what Kyle needs to understand is she's never going to work as hard as him or be invested as much in Loverboy as he is. He's an owner or creator. She's just an employee, honestly. Like, yes, she is your wife, but if tomorrow you got divorced, she's not seeing any of those residuals from Loverboy. So and she's not entitled to any of it. So why do you think she's gonna stay up till 3 in the morning doing anything for Loverboy? Like, that's all you, bud. But then she's talking about how it's stressful when Kyle stays out too late. And flashbacks and kind of PTSD of him cheating. Like, she's like, "I'm not saying he's cheating because he's out late, but it just brings all those emotions up." That's why personally for me, I could never stay with someone that cheated. I don't always believe in once a cheater, always a cheater. It depends on the person. Sometimes something can happen and then nothing ever happens again. And then there's also different types of cheating. It's like, did you full blown sleep with somebody else? Or were you just having like more an emotional like affair, like talking to someone too much of the opposite sex that you shouldn't be? Did you just drunkenly make out with someone and pull a Schwartz and like forget and go stay at another hotel resort for the night? There's different walks of cheating, but I think it's hard for Amanda when he stays out late. All those bad feelings come back up. But then we close out with Lindsay going to try on her wedding dress that she has picked out. This is sad, obviously, now because she did not get to wear the dress. I always wonder what happens to the dress if you don't get married. It's like you've already bought it, they've already fitted it to you, done the alterations. I don't know. Like, do you sell it back to them for a small fee and then you hope somebody comes along and vaguely has your sizes? You could always alter it, but obviously they've pretty much altered it to fit Lindsay. It did look beautiful. I mean, I don't know if you save it and then wear it for the next round, the wedding you'll actually have one day, but that's weird and sad. I wouldn't personally. It's just like the ring, gotta get rid of the ring. Um, Obviously, Carl's not gonna, like, save it and give it to the next person. So, Danielle accompanies the other people. Gabby was there, and then I don't know anybody else, and then Danielle. So, that was interesting Gabby was there. I don't know if they, like, told Lindsay to invite Gabby. Like, I would have been stunned if Gabby was in the wedding party because they hadn't known each other that long, but they did get close. Um, her and Danielle really reconnected, though. Loved seeing her for that. They had, like, a little moment, like, Danielle was like, "Oh my god, this is really it," but, like, obviously it's not because it didn't happen, but I love that they're back on track. Um, I think we're gonna see, like, an interesting summer with Danielle and Lindsay this summer. They're gonna be, like, single together, tearing it up, love it. We could do, like, a spinoff of the 2 of them, like, Lindsay and Danielle taking Montauk after hours with Lindsay and Danielle or something. Um Finding men to make sandwiches for us in the Hamptons. I do, like, wanna see the play out of everything, how Danielle reacts, because that's the episode I'm waiting for. The very end when Carl and Lindsay are no more, do we get other people? Did other people film? Do we get the opinions? Is Danielle gonna, like, freak out or be like, "Oh, I told you so"? I don't think she says an "I told you so," but I think Summer House is, doing amazing this season. It's great. Can't wait to see more of Jesse Solomon, maybe picking up some more ladies, hoping West and Sierra have a night like Jesse Solomon did soon. I don't know. I don't know if they're together. There was, like, some Instagram photos of her, like, at his family's, like, ranch or farm or whatever. I don't know when that was. And, I mean, she could have went and, like, they're just friends. I mean, I don't know. I do know I think it's on the next episode, Paige is gonna have the chat with Wes, and she's like, "Yeah, like, when your friend will say, like, 'Oh, like, if you hurt her, I'll kill you.'" She's like, "I'll really kill you." Love it. Paige is getting the, Long Island, like, Italian mafia out on West, the hit. So, hopefully, we don't have to put a hit out on West, and he treats our girl right. But as always, this was so lovely. I'm so glad we had so much gossip to talk about at the beginning because some weeks I feel like I don't have that much to talk about or nothing is like that earth shattering or it goes like along with the show. But I'm glad we got to chit chat about the Coachella sightings, more Jackson Brittany, and sadly, no BravoCon. I mean, I'm sad, but just gonna save up more money. Like I said, maybe I'll get that OnlyFans account started up. I'm gonna research into that, and then I'll keep everyone posted on that too. I think I'm gonna be having a special guest on my next episode to recap the Valley and Vanderpump Rules. Very excited about that. I'm coordinating all that right now. have some exciting things up my sleeve. And I forgot to mention at the beginning during my gossip, next week, next Thursday, I will be getting on an airplane all by my lonesome to stay with my best friend from college for a couple days because we are going to the Vicky and Shannon show. So no Tamara, so no more Trace Amigas. It's just duo Amigas with Doug Butin from the Jeff Lewis show. He like is kind of like their co-host or like kind of manages the little tour. So they're gonna be in Boca. So excited. Can't wait to just have like a little getaway. I'm going from Thursday to Saturday. It's gonna be quick, but it's gonna be fun. And I can't wait. We're gonna do a bonus episode recap, and I'm gonna do it down there with my friend. So I'm gonna bring all my stuff with me and we're going to record the episode there, and that'll be a bonus episode for everyone to enjoy, and we'll give you all the inside scoop. Hopefully we'll get to like chit chat with them, we'll meet and greet. But I'm so excited for that. I bought the tickets a long time ago, planned that a long time ago. Can't believe it's actually here. And can't believe we're almost into summer. I'm ready for a hot hub summer, a single Lindsay this summer. Like I said, tearing up Montauk, maybe a spinoff show of her and Danielle being single in the Hamptons. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.